is Karen Olinka, and I'm working with SOCM and the community, and are continually trying to hold the school board accountable for the actions regarding the hiring and retention of minority teachers and the lack of accountability for the bullying situation that is happening in the community. And we're seeking justice for all involved in these situations. We want to see parents, students, and teachers come out and support this effort. There's been a lot of apathy in the community, and that is why so many things are continuing to happen in our school system. And people need to come out and support and put boots on the ground and do the work necessary to support Maury County teachers and students.
I'm ready.
All right.
I have been an educator for 42 years, and in all those years I have never heard of a teacher who is competent and really outstanding fired. There's been trumped up cases here in Columbia, and I don't appreciate it. I'm not from here, but I came here and I'm getting a little disturbed about what's going on here.
Good afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity of being able to come as an educator, taxpayer, citizen here in the community. I just want you to know I appreciate what you're doing, and I think the greatest thing you can do is to allow the community to come in and have inputs in the decisions that are being made for our kids, and I appreciate that.
Ms. Hawkins, can you tell us your address?
1701 Jamie Drive.
Thank you.
On several of the statements, being on the inside for almost 15 years, been in education for 43 years, just want you to know I am committed. Teaching is what I do. It's what I've done all my life, and it's like it's my calling. Just want to talk about the substitute teacher situation. It is a major problem, but the biggest problem we have with substitute teacher is the fact that administrators are calling in friends and family members instead of calling in people who can manage the classroom. That's one of the problems that I've observed. Some of the people who are really good are not called enough, and some of the ones who cannot handle the kids, I seem to see them sometime more often. And you're saying how I know, because as I walk the hall and I hear noise and can look, and I can see it's a substitute in the room and not the teacher. But some of the problems stem from the fact that teachers are not managing their class. And I'm not putting my coworkers down because I think we all do a great job, but I just think some need professional development in the area of management. And I think administrators have to deal with this and realize that the teacher needs help and try to provide any assistance that can be necessary. On the policy is very important. Perhaps parents are not reading the policy handbook because they feel that they are not a part of it. I've worked in places with, like I said, 43 years, retired from Alabama, where we've had committee on policy where we include students and parents and teachers, and we work together on the plan, and therefore the community parents feel a part of the policy change that are being made. No policy should be changed just because a parent called upset about a dress code and policy change within a few months. There's a reason there was a dress code, and that should be taken into consideration. It teaches discipline. You have to have on belt, organization, structure, and as far as I'm concerned, it worked. It was great. On that policy, once again, policy should be distributed, maybe advertised. There's a meeting on policy change, encourage the community to take a part in it, and the staff encourage them to take a part of it. Now, policy is no good if you're not going to enforce it. I don't care what policy you have. If you don't properly enforce it, it is no good. This handbook here is administrative guideline, administrative code of conduct. When I lost my job, teachers were given a copy of this, and I'm not going into that because that's not my purpose for being up here. But if the teachers and the staff had been aware of the guideline, some of the embarrassing things that took place could have been avoided. And my thing is, policies are no good unless we buy into it and understand it and they are fairly enforced. Checking to make sure I have, bullying is truly an issue. I did, at my school, I was in charge of doing the sensitive training for the students there at Highland Park. And bullying is being mean to someone just because you can. It could be a fat person being called fat by a skinny person. It could be a white kid calling a black kid, or a black kid calling a white kid. It could be an administrator over a teacher simply because they are in charge and they're the supervisor. So all of that has to be taken into consideration. Cyberbullying, writing things about students that are not true, and having that student upset, having a miserable day at school is reality. So it stems back to being at school and proper communication. Some schools, principal address students in the morning, welcome them to school, hope they have a good day. Other administrators don't feel that it's necessary. I feel that it's necessary because when faculty and staff communicate with kids, then students feel a part of it and they're going to listen. You don't ever say anything to them, you have something negative all the time to say to them, students going to react to that. So by creating a positive atmosphere for students, then I think we're going to eliminate a lot of the bullying and the hostile environment that it creates. Does it exist? I tell you, it exists. It's a reality. And when it exists, it affects kids' ability to learn. It defeats our purpose as teachers for being there because we're there to teach every student in that class, not just a few of them. Try to reach as many as we possibly can. So we don't reach all of them, but it's still our intent to try to reach all of the students. That's important. And in order to do it, it has to be a positive environment. And some negative environment stems from the fact that some administrators are negative and think that they have to be that way to get cooperation from the staff. That has never worked. Create an atmosphere where we are partners, we're working together, we're in this together. When there's a situation, we all come together, find a resolution, and move on from there. So what I say, there are problems. They're not problems that can be fixed. And I think you've taken the first step in fixing these problems by listening to us and hearing what we have to say. And again, I say thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
But the first thing I want to say is I've been to many meetings. I've never seen you all take a vote where somebody couldn't speak. I was here for the Islamic. I was here for, what else, the zoning committee when they had, nobody didn't say they had to take a vote whether you could talk or not. You talked about Title VI. An entity can violate Title VI in a variety of ways, including disparate treatment, creation of a failure to address a hostile environment, retaliation, and failure to investigate. An entity also violates Title VI when it causes, encourages, accepts, or fails to correct harassing conduct that is sufficiently severe, pervasive, or persistent and has created a hostile environment. As it is essential to encourage reporting of potential Title VI violations, it is also unlawful under Title VI to intimidate, threaten, coerce, discriminate against any individual for the purpose of interfering with any right or privilege secured by Title VI. And that retaliation is an adverse action taken against the compliant recipient who knows of the compliance protected activity. If retaliation is proven, the LEA must justify its actions with a legitimate non-pretextual reason. That's basically it. You all know me. My grandson was bullied, not only by the bully, but by the school system. And I'm talking as for the child, not for myself. This is not about me, any of it. It's not about me. It's about the children of Maury County and how they've been treated in the past. You're making, I guess, some headway, but This is the Department of Education investigative summary and findings, and in 2014, July 1st, they said you hadn't done enough.
Speaker that is signed up is Mr. Mike Cannon. And again, if you will, please state your name and your address at the beginning.
All right, thank you. My name is Mike Cannon. My address is actually 403 Brentwood Point, though I do work in Maury County, so I don't know if that disqualifies me from speaking. Is that okay with everybody? Okay. Well, there's one thing that I want to briefly touch on, and it's the issue of climate of fear amongst teachers. So as you probably noticed, our organization, SOCM, Statewide Organizing for Community Empowerment, held a little rally outside to get people together and talk about some of the issues that we've been concerned about, some of which have been covered by Ms. Hawkins and Ms. Donaldson: bullying, the lack of a clear, good, systematic policy to deal with bullying and discipline in the classroom. But we had a number of private conversations with teachers here in Maury County trying to do outreach to get them involved in this event, and they were incredibly afraid of showing their faces at any event where people would be expressing grievances about the school system, disagreements with policy, et cetera. And that, to me, is a problem. And it's not just a problem in Maury County. I'm not just picking on Maury County here. Folks in our organization in Knox County and Knoxville recently did a study on what are called non-renewals. So, the end of the school year comes, a teacher's non-renewed. Well, they did records requests, reviewed the records, found that in the overwhelming majority of cases, there was no legitimate reason to not renew the teacher. And in many instances, you can't prove this directly, but it was coincidental that a number of those teachers had been outspoken at the school board meetings about policies they disagreed with, and they were suddenly not renewed, despite having had positive evaluations. So I just want folks to know that that is an issue here in Maury County. It's an issue around the state. And in regards to standardized testing, I think we all agree it's important that our kids have to be evaluated on what they've learned in the classroom. But as we saw with the recent fiasco with the Tennessee Ready test, the state level, I think most of y'all are aware of that. It was a total disaster. It was implemented poorly. A lot of these tests, studies have been done that demonstrate that these tests do not measure educational proficiency in any meaningful way. Multiple choice tests are increasingly taking up more and more of classroom time, which is displacing the kind of legitimate education, classical liberal arts education, critical thinking, reading, art, music, et cetera. And this is not just Maury County. This is a national trend that's been going on. So I just wanted to express that, and I think the school board members in Maury County should know that you have a lot of teachers who are really afraid of their jobs if they come out to a school board meeting or elsewhere and say, hey, I think, we're not hiring enough minority teachers. I think these policies are being undermined. And again, not just Maury County. At the state level, they took away collective bargaining rights from teachers, so they have fewer protections. We just need to be aware that teachers are scared, and when people are scared and nervous and apprehensive, they're not going to be at their best. They're not going to be at 100% in the classroom. So just wanted to share those thoughts. Thank you very much for your time.
I am Joyce Johns at 504 Valley Road, Mount Pleasant. I am a substitute teacher. I've been substituting for the school system since 2007. And I would like to say this about us substitute teachers. You was talking about some substitutes are just wasting time and all. Not all of us. That's right. Not all of us. But my problem is, I don't have problem with the students. When I go into the classroom, I let them know I'm not the one. Now, you treat me with respect, I'll give you respect. But the problem I have is this new set of teachers that you have hired. They do not want to recognize us substitute teachers. And I can give you an example. Just one, but it's several. At Hampshire Unit School, I love them to death. The kids down there respect me as Mrs. Johns. I had 3 faculty members to come in the classroom one day when I was there. They did not recognize me. They gave the students permission to go to the office. And I'm getting ready to call the roll. I had one cafeteria worker come in to let the students know what they had in their account for them to use up before school was out. Then said, Miss Johns, excuse me, may I take this time to check to see and let them know what they have in their account? I just stood there and looked at them. And when it was all said and done, I says, why did you give them permission to go to the office? I am in charge today, and I am responsible for every student that's in this room. And if one get hurt going down the hall or whatever, Mr. Doug or them will be looking at me. Okay? I told the lady in the cafeteria, would you please address me to let me know why you are in here interrupting my class? Okay, another episode, a teacher came in the room, and I have this policy. I do not particularly care for students putting their feet all in the chairs, all on the table. Well, Miss So-and-so let us do that. I'm not Miss So-and-so, I'm Miss Johns, okay? I said, do you do this at home? Yes, ma'am. I said, but this is not home. I said, Maury County is getting ready to spend billions of dollars to put a school in Maury County where everybody can be proud of, and you go sit up here and destroy the furniture. One teacher come in and put her foot up in the chair. I said, ma'am, why is it that you have your feet in the chair? She says, Miss So-and-so now doesn't say anything about me putting my feet in the chair. I said, I'm not Miss So-and-so. I address the students to take care of everything that's in the classroom. And I would appreciate if you would do the same. So I say all of that to say this. All of us substitute is not going to work just to be going to work. I come from the old school. You are feeling where Rome is burning. And if you're not learning while it's burning, you'll never learn. And I'm concerned about all kids, not only the black kids, the other kids, the Mexicans, or whatever, to go to school and get an education. That's my concern, of kids getting an education. But in the near future, when you go to talking to your new teachers, have them to have respect for us subs, because we don't enjoy getting up, coming out our bed on a bad day to come and say something, trying to encourage somebody, and then they go walk in and not recognize us. Because, see, most of us are retired anyway, and we can stay at home, and you still be short of substitute teachers. And I thank you for your time.
Like I said, my name is Douglas DePina, and my address is 121 Tommy Drive in Columbia, Tennessee. I am a resident of Maury County. I have a son that was in school. He's out of school, grown now. And I am a very concerned citizen about what I've been hearing about the Maury County school systems. And I'm not going to stand here and beat it up, okay? I'm going to stand here and say that there are some differences in the equity as far as discipline, with more minority students being disciplined than any other students. And we have a concern about that. So with that being said, I would just like to, somebody had said earlier about with Cox School, they have the people come in and speak to the students and to work with them, things like that. Well, I'm retired UAW worker, and I would like to volunteer my services to be able to come in and help with the Maury County school systems and meet with each one of you, meet with Dr. Morzak, any one of them, to see if we can come up with something together as concerned citizens that can address these issues so that we can allow a golden opportunity for each and every student of Maury County. Thank you.